Orange.
When I was 16, 17, and I decided I was going to come to University of Tennessee, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to knock some number ones off and become number one. Obviously, that's not exactly how it went, but that's what we plan to do, knock a number one off. And that's not a billboard statement or anything like that. I think everybody who plays a number one team wants to knock them off. So that's what we're going to do. And it's just a matter of execution, doing the little things right, and doing it consistently.
The number one undefeated Volunteers prepare to race onto the field. Everything is riding on this football game. So there's a special intensity, a special urgency. Here come the Volunteers. Wherever you listen throughout the world, it's football time in Tennessee.
Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley.
I'm Dauber.
And the Indie Kid is fixing his internet. Hopefully he will be back here shortly. He dropped in, and right as we were getting ready to go live, he turned into the Robot Man, and that's okay. He'll get that fixed and hopefully be back with us, I don't know, maybe in the blink of an eye. What's your name?
Johnny.
Johnny on the spot. Johnny on the spot. Let's run down the chat. Let's see who is joining us. Tim Bradley, unfortunately, will be at church. Have a good show, guys. Smash that like button, everybody. Yeah, just a reminder, once basketball season
at church.
No, he's gonna unfortunately miss the show. Come on, Indie Kid. Come on. Once basketball season rolls around, the regular schedule kind of goes crazy. So just make sure you're subscribed. Got that bell clicked for notifications. Give us a follow on social media. We'll keep you up to date on the schedule. Lucas Sharp in the house. What is going on, Lucas? Eddie Lemons says, go Big Orange. Raptor Tea Time. He's not at church because he says, in Hypel we trust. IC86 in the house. Come on in, guys. Welcome to the show. Fallout Zone. Look, I wanted to do this for Fallout Zone. I was thinking, we added a lot of moderators this week. Fallout Zone is a guy that I feel like we can trust. He is a friend of the channel. So Fallout Zone G, you are now a moderator. Be kind. Don't ban people that don't deserve to be banned. Fallout Zone says, kick Johnny, invite Indie Kid. Let's get this thing straightened out. Daniel Gregory for $2. Thank you for the super chat. Says Saturday, Hendon Hooker becomes a legend. I hope you're right. Daniel. Thank you for the super chat. This Saturday, number one, Georgia comes to town, and I really don't see how some people in one of the videos I put out today, in the chat, talking about who Georgia's played, talking about this, that, and the other. I don't understand how you can argue. Georgia is the best team in the country. Nobody has scored more than 13 points against them. Indie Kid, Vols are going to have their hands full on Saturday afternoon.
Best team in the country. It really feels like their year. And, their defense, what is it? They've not given up. They haven't given up 14 points or over 14 points a game.
Yeah, nobody scored over 13 on them.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I know it was something right along those lines.
Interesting little point, though. They've had 13 points scored on them twice. Austin Price over at VolQuest brought up the point. Josh Heupel has never scored less than 14 points in a game as a head coach. So something's got to give. Somebody's O has got to go.
Yeah, that was trying to see. Arkansas, they held Arkansas down. They held Kentucky down. This all of a sudden juggernaut Kentucky offense had been pedestrian all year. It's going to be a tall task, no doubt about it. But like you said, something has to give. I'm curious to see, can Tennessee's speed affect Georgia? It's a stout defense. It is full. This is a better defense than Alabama has. And honestly, I don't even think it's close.
I agree. The defense is Georgia's. That's their bread and butter right now. I think Tennessee will be able to score some points, based on the tempo. That's something Georgia hasn't seen. My only question about Georgia is their offense. Which offense shows up? Which guy's going to play quarterback? They seem to have kind of a bit of an indecision at quarterback. Bennett is good, is bad. Then JT Daniels comes in. It's like they can't make up their mind or find their identity offensively. But their defense is stout. It's going to be a complete uphill battle for Tennessee. I think they're going to have to play a near perfect game. It's going to have to be a clean game. These are things we talked about. The identity of the Tennessee football team the last couple of years. They have to play clean football. They have to minimize self-inflicted wounds. They can't be penalized. Can't turn the ball over. Those are the big things, especially when you play top-level team like Georgia is this year.
I'm excited about the challenge, and because that Georgia defense is so good. And the question all along when Josh Heupel came in, he was hired. The fan base was kind of split. I feel like they're united for the first time in a long time. It really does feel that way. But I'm excited for the challenge because a lot of people question Josh Heupel's offense and would it work in the SEC? And we're seeing it work. We're seeing it work every single week. But now you're going against the number one defense in the country. I'm excited for the challenge to see, again, 13 points twice. They're giving up less than 7 points a game on average. Win or lose, I want to see what this Josh Heupel offense can do against Georgia's defense on Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. The big thing for me is on the flip side. You look at Tennessee's defense. Could hardly get Kentucky off the field last Saturday. I think they were 12 of 17 on third down. If Georgia is able to convert on third down, keep their drives going, I think it might be a long day. Tennessee's defense they've been through a gauntlet of ranked teams. They've been getting points scored on them pretty well. Kentucky, they surprised me last Saturday. I really didn't think they would have enough to hang with Tennessee in a shootout like it was. But they moved the ball at times at will. So to me, I know Georgia's defense is going to be stout. The question is, can Tennessee's defense step up and kind of match them and counterpunch, maybe get a stop when and if we go down and score, can we hold them to a field goal instead of giving up a touchdown? That's kind of the trade-offs that you're looking for.
I want to come back to something you said there talking about third down because that was a key that I had in my notes too. R.D. Fridley, where'd it go? Where'd it go here? I don't even know who the heck Uncle Lou is, but people are on this channel all the time asking us to collaborate with Uncle Lou. They asked if the Indy Kid was imitating Uncle Lou on the day after. I don't even know who that guy is, but apparently a lot of people talking about him. So I don't know. Cody Branch for 2. Thank you for the super chat. Says we're going to lose bad. Feels like a blowout game. Cody, I agree. I don't have a good feeling at all about it. Joshua Harmon for 5. Thank you for the super chat. We can't run up the gut on them. We have to air the ball out. Otherwise, it'll be a long day. Regardless, the season has been a success. Absolutely. Like, in no way, shape, or form does this game on Saturday define this football team. But it is a big challenge, and it's a way they can continue to take a step forward. Maniac 7G for 10. Thank you for the super chat. We'll be at the game. I bought my dad's season tickets. I make so much noise every game I can barely talk. I need Talkin VAWLS merch ASAP. Boogie, you were a minute late starting, not explosive at all. It's got to snap and clear, man. It's got to snap and clear. Going to give a big 63 effort on Saturday when we go live. We will not be late at all. But thank you for the super chat, Maniac. Go pick up some merchandise. Go pick it up. Bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. You can get all the Talkin VAWLS merch that you want and need. Let's go back to those third downs, Dauber, you were talking about, because I think that is a big-time key for Saturday's game. Tennessee ranks 126th in the country on defensive third down, 68% conversion rate for the other team. That is flat out awful. And I said something on the post-game show after the Kentucky game. I want this defense to get a little bit more aggressive. You're talking about a defense that was on the field for 99 plays. What's the worst that can happen? Kentucky didn't punt all day long. They did not punt. What's the worst that can happen? They go down and score, and your defense gets off the field and gets a little bit of a breather. I would like to see Tim Banks go more aggressive. You got nothing to lose, absolutely nothing to lose on Saturday against Georgia. And like I said, it felt like Tim Banks didn't bring a lot of pressure. They give up the 4th and 24 late in the game, and it just seemed like he threw the playbook up in there and said, screw the game plan. I'm not going conservative. I'm bringing the house for the rest of this game. And Tennessee got pressure, got the quarterback to the ground, and they got out of Lexington with a win. Any kid agree, disagree? Do you think they should just sell out and bring pressure? They're not getting pressure with just 4 guys.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it. I'd bring pressure because when they're sitting back, they're getting picked apart. Not necessarily by the passes, but quarterbacks are killing them. It's just, if they cover that quarterback draw or that scramble, here goes a slant. Here goes something in front of the safeties. When they brought the pressure, they made things happen Saturday night. They're going to have to do that this week. You have nothing to lose in this game. The offense is aggressive. Let's see the defense replicate that. And then, if Georgia burns them, they burns them. burns them. If they burn them, they burn them.
Yeah.
Let it happen. But I'm like you. I would rather get burned being aggressive than sitting back, giving them space. I'm totally with you on that. And put pressure on it. Make Bennett, if he's a quarterback or whomever, make him make a play. If they beat you being aggressive, so be it. It happens.
Chuck Hickey brings up a good point talking about safeties being hamstrung by a linebacker play. I think the safeties are weak too. I think they are what they are. The linebackers and safeties, you just got to live and die with them. They are what they are. It's not like they're going to get better this late in the season. But and don't get it twisted with Stetson Bennett. He may not be what you would call a mobile quarterback. He'll make plays with his feet if you don't get to him and keep him in the pocket.
Oh, that's for
He's
sure.
not Matt Corral, but yeah, he
No.
can still make you pay.
Hey, he made some plays with his legs last year against us. Did he not?
I think he did, yeah.
He extended some plays, and it's just that has been a problem for Tennessee football that predates this current staff. And I think the issue right now is depth and the level of talent we have, particularly at the linebacker position. If you got a mobile quarterback, you've got to have elite top-level linebacker play to be able to cover, but then react to a quarterback moving out of the pocket. And right now, I don't think we're there.
Yeah, I mean it's bad when you can see that they're spying. They spied Corral the majority of that game and just still couldn't get to him.
Couldn't shed blocks.
No,
not even a full-on block. That if a guy gets a hand on him and slows him down, they're one step too late, and he's already buying.
And that's the thing with this game, man. Everybody's talking about this Tennessee offense against this Georgia defense because that's the big matchup because Josh Heupel scores points. This Georgia defense they're the best in the country. Like I said, giving up less than 7 points a game. But if Tennessee's going to win this game, they have got to be improved from last week. Last week was the worst performance of the year against Kentucky. They have to get better, and they got to do it in a hurry. And like I said, people talk about this Georgia offense as if it's not any good, but that's not the case. Georgia's offense is putting up points. They average 38.5 points a game. They score points. So Tennessee's going to have to find a way to, going back, coming full circle, get off the field on third down, make some stops, force some turnovers. If Tennessee's going to have any chance, fallout zone spot on, they have to tackle better, period.
Can't be like it was this past week where Kentucky, how many times did it seem that Tennessee had Kentucky stopped at the line and then her running back goes for an additional 5 yards? And I would even venture to say Kentucky's got some pretty good running backs. Georgia's are better.
Mm-hmm.
So what's going to happen if they're not tackling? Georgia's going to drag them 5 yards or more as well. I mean, like I said, they got to tackle. I honestly, I'm kind of with Les down here. I would stack the box to stop the run and make Bennett beat me. And he may do it. He's not a bad quarterback at all, but I'm not going to let Georgia beat me by running all over me all day long. It's just not going to happen. And if I have to, I would pull the line back. I've said it before. I know Tennessee won't do it. I would go strict. I would go with a 4-man front and then go all DBs after that. If we think the scrambling quarterback's going to be an issue. Don't know if that works. That's a crazy philosophy, but when things aren't working and you just had your worst performance of the year, you got to look at some kind of changes. And that's not being. I saw in our post game chat, I got accused of being a negaval. The facts are the facts. If they had played great, I said they played like crap. Yeah, I'm being negative, but that defensive effort, they made the plays when it mattered to win that game. But the majority of that game was hard to watch from a defensive standpoint.
It's like I said, Kentucky did not punt the entire game. It's their worst defensive outing of the year, period. Like there's no question about it. Yeah, I saw those comments and just kind of chuckled.
It wasn't even worth a response.
You know how it is. You know how it is when you're on YouTube.
But on the flip side, they came out with a W. Came out with a W on the road.
And that's all that matters. That's all that matters.
You can look like an absolute dog turd. You come out with a W. There's stuff to work on. There's stuff to get better on, but you did what was necessary to get through.
I want to go back to, it's kind of like I said earlier. What do you have to lose? Talking about bringing pressure, dial up blitzes, get aggressive. And Indy Kid brings up a good point. If the linebackers are struggling, you're right. It's not going to happen. Why not throw Theo Jackson over there to the linebacker and just tell him, hey, spy the quarterback or do this, do that. And Turnage, a guy that he gets one opportunity because Theo Jackson's hurt and he's the SEC Defensive Player of the Week, but he can't find a way back on the field. And
is he hurt?
Maybe. I don't know. And don't think that I'm questioning the coaches because I love this coaching staff. They're doing a great job with this football team. But it's worth asking. It's worth asking why a guy comes in, plays one game, leads the team in tackles, SEC Defensive Player of the Week. Theo Jackson gets healthy. And I'm not saying play him over Theo Jackson, but we're talking about poor safety play, and Theo Jackson can play a little safety. Why not move him back to safety and just see what happens? And maybe they are doing that. Maybe they're doing that in practice, and it doesn't work, and that's why we're getting what we're getting. We don't know. But again, what do you have to lose? Somebody asked real quick, and I want you to answer, Dauber. Keep that thought. What do the numbers on the hats mean?
1796. That's the year Tennessee became a state.
These are the gas cap collection. I got mine probably. Man, it was at the old Foul Anchor in Johnson City.
Add a year to it, so you had it longer than Dauber. Just be safe.
He definitely got it before me. I found it from a guy who had 2 or 3 left dead stock, and was jumping all over it to get it because they were sold out when I came across it. So
I lucked into this one because they were sold out initially. I'd gotten one that was more of it's almost like it was wool, but you can't wear it very often. and then I found this one. So I've had it a pretty long time. Pretty cool hat.
I didn't get the memo.
I think they do them for each state.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know if they're still around or not, but they were.
The company's defunct now.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But they did have them, I think, for maybe all states. If not all, they had them for a lot of them.
Thank you, Timbo76, for becoming a member of the channel. You've gotten access to custom Talkin VAWLS emojis. If you're a member, go ahead and show Timbo how to use them. Drop them in the chat. We appreciate all you guys that are members. It's basically like a guaranteed super chat every month. It's just a way that you financially support the channel. We greatly appreciate it. If you want to become a member, hit the join button right beside subscribe. It's as little as 99 cents. If you want to throw a little bit more in the tip jar, $2.99, we would greatly appreciate it. Dauber, do you remember your train of thought there before I cut you off?
Yeah. What I was going to say is, and I think you sort of alluded to it. I'll bring it back around and kind of close it up. To me, the tell of this game isn't going to be Tennessee's offense that, is capable of scoring points, capable of running that tempo, and then Georgia's, probably best defense in the country. It's going to be the flip side for the both of those. It's going to be Georgia's offense versus Tennessee's defense, and who wins that matchup there. I think that really is going to be what decides this game. Which of those two units has the better day?
Let me go back and hit this comment real quick. Vols fan for life, a.k.a. Knoxville Pedophiles, member of the channel, big-time supporter, big-time super chatter. We appreciate all you do to help us. Says Millie Ray, born Monday, 7 pounds, 12 ounces, perfect. Newest VFL. Congratulations, my friend. Your life just changed.
Yep.
Your life just changed. Welcome to the world of being a dad of a daughter. There's nothing like it, man. Congratulations, and thanks for hanging out with us. Kind of talking about tempo, Dauber. I want to go back something we talked about off air right before we got rolling. You and I were talking before the Indy Kid jumped on. Talking about starting fast. Tennessee plays fast right out of the gate. They are outscoring opponents 138-37 in the first quarter. Georgia, obviously, Neyland Stadium is going to be rocking. First, probably only 3:30 kickoff of the season. It's going to be I hope it's going to be a great atmosphere. I'll be honest, it seems a little quiet this week. Going into that Ole Miss game felt like the old days. Like everybody was talking about Tennessee football. I've not really felt that this week, but I think on game day, the crowd will be there. They'll be hot. They'll be ready to go. Can Tennessee start fast? And if they do, Indy Kid, if Tennessee comes out, say something similar to that Kentucky game, you take one to the house on the first play, and the fourth play, you got about 30 seconds of offensive time of possession in that first quarter. If Neyland Stadium gets going, does Tennessee is there any chance at all?
Yeah. Tennessee's got here's the difference going in this year opposed to previous years. At least, let's see, last time they won was that the Dobnell? I think that was the last time Tennessee beat Georgia. I would venture to say since that, the games have not been close, and every coach has gone in playing not to lose. Josh Heupel said it this way: they're not going to be intimidated. They're going to go in to win this week. Does that mean they will? Not necessarily, but I like the chance that this team is not going to be intimidated by Georgia. Past Tennessee teams have been. They've got a chance this weekend. Any of you Georgia trolls in here, Tennessee's going to have a chance. They're bringing it this week. You're going to sweat, and you're going to have to bring it if you're coming into Neyland, because this Tennessee team is not scared of you like you think they are. They're going to bring it.
It's like the clip you played of Butler as we got started.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I loved it.
He's an awesome dude. Very well spoken. He'd be one of those guys you want to hang out around. But he's like, that's why I came to Tennessee. A chance to play in those games, a chance to knock off number one. Those guys know what this game means. They know what that little that little number besides Georgia's name is. It's a, and another thing is, I don't think it's quite as like it was in years past, but there are a number of Georgia guys. There are a number of guys that know people on the Georgia team. They don't want to lose. I don't think any of them ever want to lose, but there is a lot of rivalry because guys know each other in this matchup. It's a border state game. It's a conference division game. Man, I think everybody's going to bring it.
If Josh Heupel and his staff doesn't come, and these players, you're playing the number one team in the country. We've heard about how great they are, and they are. I mean, they're a hell of a team. If you can't get fired up in front of your home crowd, coming off of an emotional win last week, play the number one team and possibly knock them out of the play. I don't think you'll knock them out of the playoffs, so to speak, but possibly. If you cannot get motivated for that, if you're wearing that orange and white Saturday, you're not fired up, you're not ready, you don't need to wear it. And but I say that knowing these players are going to be fired up. This coaching staff is going to be fired up.
But it goes back. I'm going to play the quote again because we got 210 people watching live right now. There wasn't that many when we played the opening clip. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up real quick. Let's get it up well over 100 so I can stop talking about it. We got 93 right now. Let's get it up over 100. And speaking of, YouTube made the stupid decision this week. They're going to take away the thumbs down button. So you can't see how many people hit thumbs down. That's going to ruin my entire bit. If I can't yell at people for hitting thumbs down, what am I going to talk about for an hour while you guys talk about Tennessee football? I have no clue. But I want to go back and play this Matthew Butler clip real quick that Dauber was talking about, and then I want to make a comment about it.
When I was 16, 17, and I decided I was going to come to University of Tennessee, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to knock some number ones off and become number one. Obviously, that's not exactly how it went, but that's what we plan to do, knock a number one off. And that's not a billboard statement or anything like that. I think everybody who plays the number one team wants to knock them off. So that's what we're going to do. And it's just a matter of execution, doing the little things right and doing it consistently.
I love how matter of fact he says it. Everybody wants to knock off a number one team, and that's what we're going to do. There's no question. That's what we're going to do. It's kind of like going back to the statement that I play all the time from him from the preseason when he's like, I'm tired of talking about it. We're going to go do it. We're going to go be about it. And that's, you talk about what a great dude he is, man. He is just a leader of this football team. He's everything you want in a leader. But again, let's go back to when Josh Heupel was hired, right? He comes in and he's given all these, motivational things and we're going to do this and that. We're going to change the culture, yada, yada, yada. And it's all coach speak. It's all coach speak until you start seeing these guys be about it and live it out. And, every single week they talk about a one-game season. And that sounds like something Butch Jones would say. We take it 1 week at a time. We're 0-0 going into this week. It sounds like such bull crap. But when your players start to buy in and they start to believe it, and it's authentic with this football team. I truly believe that they are going into Neyland Stadium on Saturday with 100% confidence, like Matthew Butler just said, we're going to go knock off the number one team in the nation. And when you can build that type of culture in year one, can you continue to do that? And if so, boys, we've got a head football coach.
Yeah. It's one of those things, man. Like you said, coach speak only goes so far. But when you see the team progress, get better, learn from mistakes, they go back to the Pitt game, go back to the Florida game, the penalties, the turnovers, the inconsistent play at the quarterback position. Those are all things that we said they're fixable. And those are things that they've gotten better. They've certainly limited some of the penalties. They're hitting the plays because you're getting more consistent play from Hooker at the quarterback position. Heupel and staff, they weren't scared to make that change. They saw Milton was being ineffective. Milton was the scheme was there because guys were wide open, but the plays weren't being made.
Yep.
So unfortunately, he got hurt, and that halted his progression. That halted the chance for him to get better as QB1, but it gave Hooker the opportunity to step in, and he's not looked back since. So that's the thing. You've got to have guys driving each other to be better. And I think that's the thing that really hurt the team the last couple of years. And I don't know if it was more so the guys that were there or the coaching staff that was there. And I think maybe a bit of both, because if you look at that, particularly the quarterback room and the battle and all the guys that were there, there's not a one of them left. Every single one of those guys is no longer in the program. So to lay blame on any one of those guys, I don't think you can. I think it all reflects back to the coaching staff. And I really think Chris Winkie was the worst hire and the biggest failure as a position coach and set back the program in terms of competency at the quarterback position. But I think Heupel, that's his calling card. He's a quarterback. He played the position. And I think that he knows how to groom and mentor and coach guys up to succeed at that position.
And that's why it goes all the way back to the whole quarterback competition and Joe Milton and people being upset about that and wanting to play Harrison Bailey and all that nonsense. Like you said, Josh Heupel played the position at an elite level, won the national championship, Heisman Trophy runner-up. I think he knows a little bit something about coaching quarterbacks. I'm pretty sure he knows more than the three of us. Pretty sure he knows more than everybody in the chat when it comes to the quarterback position. Let me hit this super chat. Jonathan Rice for 5. Thank you for the super chat. Says, I'd run through a wall for Indy Kid right now. I am pumped. And, maybe Josh Heupel doesn't know everything, more than all of us because, you read this super chat and Indy Kid's such a motivator. He's a championship level coach after last week. I mean, he's motivating the chat. Indy Kid, it is what it is. Wait. They on Cuberson for 2. Dauber looks like LMFAO. We're just polar opposites up here. We said we were ebony and ivory, just rocking the different color glasses. Indy Kid, I don't even know where you can take it after all I just said in the last.
I got an easy point on this one.
Okay, good.
Keep this in mind with Hendon Hooker. This is probably one of the weakest quarterback classes coming in for the NFL draft this year. Hendon Hooker has got a chance to open some eyebrows this weekend playing against Georgia. You go out and have a big game against Georgia, you're going to get NFL scouts' attention. It's not a given Hendon Hooker's coming back next year, especially with a down year in this quarterback class. If it were like last year's, he'd be crazy not to come back. But I hope he comes back. And obviously it could benefit him. But if there's not much of a difference and maybe even a better – you got to look at from his standpoint. You've got to look at what does next year's quarterback class look like versus this year's. If next year's is stronger, they're going to be more apt to take a younger quarterback. But he has a big game this weekend against that defense, which is, as good as there is. You're going to start seeing Hendon Hooker go up the Mel Kiper quarterback board quickly. A lot of people have points to prove this weekend in Knoxville. And, it's not anything – it's not bulletin board material when you say you're fired up to go in and beat the number one team. You can spin it that way all you want to if you're Georgia, but you're just trying to get a rise out of your players. That's what you're trying to do on it. When you're number one or even high like that, you're going to have a bullseye on your back every week. You can spin it how you want to. Georgia hasn't played in this kind of environment this year either. I feel like every game they've played's been at home. I know they played Florida neutral site. I don't know who they've really played on the road beside.
Well, I
Seems
think
like
that
every time
Clemson?
I watched them, they've been on the road.
Was that
Clemson
Clemson
was,
game neutral site?
Yeah, I was 5 minutes over beside the stadium when it was playing.
I thought it was.
They've had 2 road games, Vandy and somebody
That
else.
don't count.
And yeah, Vandy and Auburn. And the Vandy game was pretty much a Georgia home game as well.
Yeah.
Auburn, there you go.
count.
Yeah, that's a legit one, and they handled Auburn pretty well.
The thing about Hooker for me is, and I think it was Swain talking about it this week, maybe. I don't know. It all blends together, whether it was Swain or Volquest, but he's going to have to answer questions when talks to NFL teams. If he's going to enter the draft, he's going to have to sell himself. Is this a product of a system, or are you truly an NFL quarterback? And I love Hendon Hooker, but how many times, going back to what Dauber said earlier when we talk about Joe Milton, how many times did we see guys running down the field wide open? Josh Heupel dials up plays every single week. All you got to do is put the ball on the money, and it's a touchdown. We've seen it every week. Every week it's happened. You look at the Kentucky game, Javonte Payton, that first game, that's a player making plays. That wasn't scheme, but how many times do we see every single week, Josh Heupel scheme something up? He's going to have to be able to sell himself. So you're right, Indy Kid. Saturday against Georgia is going to be a big-time opportunity for him to sell himself to the NFL. I just think personally, and I never blame a kid for going pro, ever. You have an opportunity to go make money, guess what? That degree is still going to be waiting on you. That's something me and my wife argue about all the time. She talks about how important a degree is. I'm like, when you sign that dotted line and you get that NFL contract, that college ain't going anywhere. You can go back and get your degree. I never blame a kid for going pro, but I think
I'll look at it.
He would benefit from coming back. Go ahead.
I think you got to look at it from his standpoint of how does he benefit by coming back next year? Does his draft status, because you got to think he's fifth year senior right now, has that option to come back a year, but does his draft stock improve next year? Does it stay the same? Does it drop next year? Off the top of my head, I don't know what next year's quarterback class is going to look like. This year's is not saying that there are not any good quarterbacks coming out, because there are, but it's not as top heavy as it's been the last few years. I think he's going to have a decision to make, and I definitely think he has improved his stock this year opposed to last year. And I'm with you. Obviously, a lot of you guys that have been, I'm an educator. I'm all for education, but man, I'm looking at it if I'm in Hendon Hooker's shoes. Am I taking that money, or am I going to wait and get a degree? I'll come back.
Hell, he's already got his degree. He's already got his degree. I mean, that's the thing. Yeah.
He's got it. I'm taking the money because these opportunities don't come around very often to go to a pro sport. Like you said, you can come back and get a degree. You have that opportunity to fulfill your dream, live that, make a contribution, make some big time money. And that's money you're not making in a regular job. It's just not. Can't blame me.
However, Calvin Corrin brings up a point here. How much could he make staying with NIL stuff? He comes back and
not an NFL contract.
Not an NFL contract.
Yeah.
But that's another year to develop. That's another year to get better.
I think his name, I've said it. I'm making videos about it. Heisman Trophy campaign starts immediately at the end of this season.
Oh, yeah.
I would not rely on NIL.
No,
I just wouldn't. Not at Tennessee. They're not knocking it out on the park with NIL.
But what's the money difference if he comes out this year versus next year?
That's the key. What's next year's quarterback class look like compared to this one? If next year's is deep, go now.
We've pulled up next year's schedule and looked at it. It's set up pretty good.
Yeah.
For a experienced quarterback to come in and play
with a whole other year.
put
Whole
up
other year.
numbers.
But from an NFL perspective, there's a younger guy with a bigger arm, with a freaking vertical, which I don't really understand vertical with NFL, but whatever. With those, those attributes and stuff, they're going to look at a guy that's 21 compared to a guy who's probably at that point 23 to 24. Father Time, from that perspective, is not on his side. I mean, I agree. Coming back a year, Heisman campaign and all that, it's going to look big. That doesn't guarantee. I mean, look at Josh Heupel. What did he get drafted when he went? Runner-up, runner-up for the Heisman, won national title. I'm thinking he played a little bit in the league, but he wasn't a high-round pick. So I don't know. From Hendon Hooker's perspective, you've got to weigh the pros for this year versus next year. Yeah, and the Heisman does not guarantee your pro prospect. We've seen that numerous times.
No, it just gets me excited.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But, I'm looking at if I were in his shoes on it, where do I have a better chance to get drafted higher to make that difference this year, or am I looking at next year's and being realistic about it?
Let me hit this super chat. Then I want to kind of keep this conversation rolling. Tyler Adams for 2. These Georgia fans are getting on my nerves. Yeah, they get on my nerves too. Don't
Worst
worry.
fan base that there is.
Other than Alan V. Alan V is the only nice fan out there. It is what it is. Somebody put in the chat, it's already gone now. I can't remember who said it. Asked the question is, I think it might have been Les Wadley. Oh, there it is. Yeah, hey, look, he's asking it now. Who is he going to be throwing the ball to? And that's a good question. That is a good question. And I put out a video this week talking about a transfer. They're going to go to the portal. And Javonte Payton, again, I love Swain. They're not competition. We make jokes talking about getting more subscribers than them and blah, blah, blah. But it's all just fun and games. They're media. We're not. But Swain, the Tennessee Prime show that they do with VolQuest, Javonte Payton was on there last night, Tuesday night. What day is it? I don't even know what day it is.
It's Wednesday.
Yeah, he was on there Tuesday night, and Swain said, Javonte, I want you to look at the camera right now. And I want you to tell everybody listening, all those players out there thinking about entering the transfer portal, read off your stats to them and tell them why they should come to Tennessee. And he said something very similar to Velus Jones when Josh Heupel got hired. He said, who wouldn't want to play in this offense? I don't think Josh Heupel is going to have a problem getting a couple of transfer receivers to come in. But then also look at Jimmy Callaway, Jimmy Holiday, those guys. You're hearing good things about those guys coming along. Just because they're not cracking the top 3, you got to look at those 3 guys that are in that rotation. They're pretty dang good wide receivers in Javonte Payton, Velus Jones, and Cedric Tillman having that kid is playing himself into the NFL. A lot of us had given up on him. He is playing himself into the NFL. Hopefully he comes back next year. I don't he needs another year. I don't think he's going to the league yet, but I don't think targets are going to be a problem.
Yeah, I agree. And we've talked about it a couple times. How many athletes are there out there that are going to hit the portal? I think receiver is one that you can definitely find some. It's, will they pan out? Will they have the success that Peyton has seen this year? Do they fit? That's the gamble you run at any position, especially wide receiver coming in. Are they going to fit? Are they going to mesh with the quarterback? Are they a good route runner? There's a lot to it. And that's we've talked all about the portal. Got to go portal heavy. And I don't think receiver is one of those big priorities for heading into 2022. It's got to be some other areas of focus.
I don't think there's a position they can take for granted in the portal.
Yeah, you get.
I really don't. I think they could add depth really anywhere. I would look to add some at wide receiver.
Oh,
that's 2 big losses.
I think you do, but I don't think that it's not as glaring of a need as your linebacker, your secondary,
Your offensive line, and
even
not to
even
put
your
over my own video, but the video I put out earlier today, Paul Chio from Clemson, that former 4-star, number 3 ranked offensive guard, and I think it was a class of 2020, I believe. You know, he got passed up by a freshman at Clemson. That's a dude I think Tennessee's going after. I really do. You know, I asked our listeners, you know, I make a lot of transfer portal videos. Do you guys want them, not want them? They want them. A lot of times I'm like, I don't know if Tennessee will go this route. I'm just putting it out there. I think this is a guy that Tennessee needs to go after. Cade Mays is gone. He's going to the NFL.
Yeah.
Tennessee needs depth on the offensive line. And this is a kid you can sell playing time, and you can do the same that they've done with every other transfer. They seem to be pretty, you know, genuine with him and tell him, hey, you're going to have to win the spot. But that's a kid I would go get immediately.
Well, there's no guarantee Carvin comes back. I don't know what his draft prospects are, but I think he's going to have a decision. And I'm not sure about Calvert, if he could come back or not. I'm not sure if he's a super or if he does have that year if he wants it. Yeah, Cade Mays is not coming back. They need line help bad. I don't think Alontae Taylor will be back, so you're going to have to replace him in the secondary. I'm just going off of what I've read from what just kind of looking on the board. I know Ryan Callahan 24/7 on their message board. He said on somebody asked about super seniors and who could come back, who can't. And he said he would be surprised if Alontae Taylor comes back. And thinking about his comments over the break when they were off, he just seemed like a guy who's stressed. You know, it's been a stressful process, and maybe he's ready, especially if his draft prospects are there, which I think he'll play in the league. I really think he will. Maybe he's ready to get on with it. But I don't see other guys that should leave early in that secondary. So, you know, where offensive line and probably defensive line should be your top 2 targets in the portal. I don't think there's any doubt about that, but you can definitely withstand to add otherwise. And depending on what happens with quarterback, I still think they're going to have to go to the portal for a quarterback.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Because either Hooker or Milton, I don't think you'll see both of them back next year.
Yeah, now if Hooker goes to the draft, Joe Milton's going to come back and try to win that job. But if Hooker comes back, what's Joe Milton going to do? Again, you know, we kind of talked about this previously, but is he content to be the backup, or does he transfer that? What's he going to do? Go play for Randy Sanders at ETSU? Yeah. Like, what's he going to do?
That's the key. I mean, and you know, if Hooker leaves and Milton's coming back, you don't put all your eggs in that basket. You better have somebody pushing him and ready to go.
No, how could you have any confidence with Joe Milton going into next season?
I mean, you know, like I said, there's not a position if the right guy's available that you pass up. I wouldn't even at running back. If there's a stud running back out there, I would not hesitate to bring a stud running back in as well. Just because these guys this year, they can't stay healthy.
Well, and that's right now, going into Saturday, this team is 2 snaps away from a walk-on playing quarterback. You have 2 scholarship quarterbacks. That's a rough spot to be in. So,
but that's not even the worst position.
No.
I mean, the offensive line, linebackers, God, way worse problems.
Former walk-on is, you know, really high up on your offensive line rotation.
That's why I would take the kid from Clemson. I would have called him the second he put his name in the portal. I would have called him. They've got to have guys. They got to have bodies.
Yeah.
So
I would look at – I think there's going to be more guys leave Clemson. It's been a rough year over there. I would look at it because Clemson recruits pretty well. I maintain it. I'm looking at Clemson. I'm looking at Alabama, Ohio State. I mean, that's your notorious highest recruiting classes. I mean, you could look at some other schools that are in and out in there. LSU, what's going to happen with LSU with
What's
their
going to happen
coaching
at Florida?
change?
Yeah.
Man,
Florida.
there is no way. There is absolutely no way, Mullen. If he survives that, I'll be shocked. But I think Grantham's out, so that may be the thing that it's going. Hey, you're coming back, but you're going to make wholesale changes.
Yeah,
But
when you're
you gotta
hiring,
think,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, you got to think there's going to be some turnover there as far as players. USC, what's going to happen there? There's going to be players to get. And that's the big thing about that's, why there's negatives to the portal. When you're in Tennessee's shape, getting hit the way they are, the portal is your friend.
Yeah. The pros and cons. There are pros and cons to the transfer portal. Let's get ready to transition into our picks, our predictions for Georgia. I do want to kind of bring up one more point as we talk about depth and injuries. Going back earlier in the season, we saw this team get beat up against Ole Miss, Alabama, back-to-back games. I don't remember what the numbers were. Those teams ran a lot of plays. Last Saturday, Kentucky runs 99 plays. So Tennessee's defense was on the field for 99 plays. You guys think that's going to take a toll? We look at those last two games, South Alabama, Vanderbilt, we see wins. But do you think Tennessee's going to be beat up going into those two games? You talk about the running back position, Indy Kid. You talk about Tyon Evans, Jabari Small, unable to stay healthy. But when your defense is out there for that many plays, are they going to be beat up after they play a physical team like Georgia?
Yeah, they will. But, it was predominantly the same guys that were out there, it seemed like, especially linebacker. It was predominantly Banks and Beasley.
And Butler's playing a lot of plays.
Yeah.
A lot of plays.
Yeah, they rotate a little more on the defensive line. Seen a few more guys in the secondary, but I felt like it was I didn't notice all of the rotations, but I felt like it was mainly your ones that played a lot of those plays. So, you're going to be beat up a little bit each week, but I don't know. I don't think it'll have that big of an effect on it.
Well, our strength and conditioning program, they must be a whole lot better than Ole Miss's, because to be on the field 99 plays and not have, 20 guys laying on the field.
I don't know. Our extra points, a little rough, man. Getting beat up, banged up. You got to call a spade, man.
So
every
weird.
Extra point, it's so obvious what they're doing. They're giving that defense a breather. It's so obvious. You got to call it what it is.
Yeah, but that's not killing tempo.
No, it's not. But it's trying to give your defense a break. It's still cheap, but I don't know that it impacts the game as much as killing tempo impacts the game. We got 286 people watching live right now. If you haven't done so yet, please do us a favor. Smash that thumbs up. We got 170 thumbs up right now. No reason why we can't get that over 200. We would appreciate it. It helps the channel, plays the algorithm, all that good, ridiculous stuff. But also another way you can support the channel, go to bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. You can pick up the official merchandise of the Talkin VAWLS network. When you go in, you can see the different styles. There's the retro Vols shirt. You click the style, you can pick a different color scheme, all that good stuff. State Pride, my favorite logo. I've not told you guys this. We're currently working on a new basketball shirt for this year. It's going to be an NBA Jam theme. We're trying to figure out what we can get away with legally, to be honest with you. But we're looking into it. We're trying to create a design, but any and all support, greatly appreciated. Go check out the website, pick up some merchandise. But if not, just hit that thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed. Tell somebody about the channel. We are on that race to 10,000 subscribers. We hit, I think, like 9,500 today, something like that, 9,520. Getting closer and closer and closer. When we hit 10,000, going to give away some free merchandise. I don't know how we're going to go about it, but we will give some stuff away. So like I said, do us a favor, hit that thumbs up, make sure you subscribe, tell a friend, tell a family member, tell your Aunt Jane about Talkin VAWLS. We would greatly appreciate it. Let's get into our predictions. Tennessee takes on number 1 Georgia, 3:30 inside of Neyland Stadium. We didn't even really talk about the Kentucky game. We have pretty much been talking about Georgia. this defense versus Tennessee's offense. Indy Kid, you're up first. Give us your break.
Last. I'm going last.
Uh-oh. He's feeling like Lee Corso. Dauber, you're on the hot seat. What do you got?
I think the keys for Tennessee, they've got to win the turnover battle, and not just win, but they've got to convert turnovers into touchdowns and take advantage of any mistakes that Georgia makes. They got to play a clean game, no penalties or few penalties, no turnovers for Tennessee offensively. They got to win special teams. That's been something that early in the season we saw the team really excel at, and then kind of dropped off. The Kentucky game. What do we miss? One or two field goals? I think just one.
One.
It's. I feel like that's an area that to win a big game like this, you've got to have success in special teams. Honestly, you get back to the basics. Get back to General Neyland's maxims. You follow all of that. Georgia's coming in. They're a great team. They've got the little number one by their name. Elite defense. Here's the buzz phrase, though. They've not played anybody like Tennessee yet. They've not seen the tempo. They've not seen the speed. Well, Georgia's in the SEC. They see speed. I think it's going to be a close game early. I think Tennessee will score some points, but I think that the Georgia defense is going to be enough to smother more drives than Tennessee has success on. I've got the Bulldogs winning 38-24.
Let me hit these couple of super chats, and then I'll go next. Indy Kid has claimed his spot to do his Lee Corso whistle and blow our minds. I can't wait. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. It's going to remind me of the old days at work, our old head-to-head pick'ems in email while everybody else was working and we were talking football all day. Jonathan Rice for 5. Thank you for the super chat. Says 31-27 Tennessee over Georgia. Georgia sleepwalks into the first quarter. Tennessee scores 14. Georgia struggles to catch up. Go Big Orange, singing Rocky Top all damn night. Jonathan, I would love nothing more. I hate these SOBs I cannot stand Georgia. It almost pains me to have to sit here the way I'm sitting here tonight and just laughing and having a good time because I hate them. Can't stand them. Never once cussed out a 9-year-old walking into Neyland Stadium. Not one time did I do that. Joel Certain for 10. Thank you for the super chat. If we win, it's going to be great. D-line pressure and better than usual O-line play. Got to secure tackles on D. Keep their offense off the field. Line of scrimmage wins games in the SEC. Go Big Orange. The question, Joel, thank you for that super chat. Can Tennessee do that? Can Tennessee keep their offense off the I think he means defense. Tackles on D. Keep Georgia's offense. Can Tennessee's defense get off the field? That's the big question. Can Tennessee's defense get off the field? I don't know. I don't know that they can. And I can sit here and we've ran down the numbers, the stats, Georgia's defense, Tennessee's offense. We've talked about it all. I think people are sleeping on Georgia's offense. I think they're better than people think they are. Like I said, I think they're scoring like 38 points a game, something like that. A big concern for me is Tennessee's offensive line, their pass protection. Georgia has 28 sacks on the season, which is second in the SEC. Vols gave up 5 sacks to Kentucky last week. They've given up 33 sacks on the year, which is dead last in the SEC. Absolutely dead last. And yes, Hendon Hooker, for as much as he makes plays with his feet, if the pocket collapses, a lot of times he holds on to the ball too long. Can they keep him upright? Can they keep him upright and allow him to make plays? Will he be able to extend the field? We've had success throwing the ball vertically down the field. Can they keep Hendon Hooker up on his feet long enough to do that? Or does this offensive game plan change? Do they try to get the ball out quick? I think Tennessee's going to struggle to run the football. I think it's going to be a bad day for Tennessee. And I hate to say it because I freaking hate Georgia. I hate them with a passion. And I hate to sit here, but we keep it real on this channel. It is what it is. I don't even want to read this score that's in my notes. I got Georgia 45, Tennessee 20. I think Tennessee scores the most points that anybody's put on Georgia all year, but I think it's ugly. I think it's ugly. It is what it is. Bring me out of this depression, Indy kid.
Doom, gloom, Negavall. Man. That's me, Negavall. I'm looking right in the mirror. That's a Negavall for you when I look at. See my beautiful face in the mirror. It says nothing but Negavall on it. Georgia's number one. The best defense that's played in probably our lifetimes. You know, it's Tennessee hasn't beat Georgia since 2016 on a miracle, the Dobnell boot. You know, apathy, the crowd. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen Saturday? You know, Georgia's been firing on all cylinders all year. Tennessee doesn't have a chance. But this isn't Jeremy Pruitt. This is not Butch Jones teams. This is not scared of their own shadow when they step into the stadium. Josh Heupel's coming in to win. You're playing the number one team in the nation. You're coming to bring it. You have nothing to lose. People got laughed at for 9-win seasons. Maybe that 9 wins included a win over Georgia plus the bowl game along the way. Maybe that's what they were including along the way. Georgia has not seen Tennessee's offense. Yeah, maybe it's going to come down to the other matchup there. But what can Tennessee's offense do? Can they keep Hooker clean Saturday? If you're Tennessee, you better have a quick game plan in. You're going to have to burn Georgia a little bit, but you're also going to have to be quick along the way. Neyland Stadium's going to be rocking. They're coming off of a big win last week. Again, if you're Heupel, if you're that staff, or you're those players, if you're coming in scared Saturday, stay at home. I think this team is going to come in. They're not going to play scared. They're coming in to make a statement. They're coming in to change the culture. Tennessee is taking number one down. 31-28. Georgia's number one ranking down the toilet. Go Big Orange.
To be the man, you got to beat the man. And I'm saying, woo, right here.
I don't think anybody, including our fan base, are afraid to be the villains. So
I like it. I hope you're right, Indy kid. I hope you're right. And would you bet your life savings on it?
Nope, don't bet. But I can say it. I'm in Bulldog country, man. I've got to down here in the Augusta kind of area. It's Bulldog country, especially since they're winning. You got to be the heel this week, so I'm going full in as the villain, and I'm believing. I may be crazy. They may get smoked. I think this team's going to bring it Saturday. I think that the crowd's going to be behind them. What happens if they punch Georgia in the mouth? How's Georgia going to react? They haven't been punched in the mouth this year. They're getting ready to get punched in the mouth.
That's a good point. Hey, after you punch them in the mouth, let's step on their throats too.
Step on their freaking throats and don't let off of it. Pull the upset. Show them. Go show the country. Tennessee football's on its way back.
No, Buck. Not giving my Jeep away.
I think you did say that.
I said I might, Dauber. I said I might. I ain't giving my Jeep away. JP, I don't even want to talk to you on Saturday. After the third play, you'll be ready to fire Josh Heupel. I don't want to hear about Georgia peeing down their legs. Goodness gracious. All right, I think that's going to wrap it up for this one. Just a reminder, we will be live Saturday immediately following the game. Got tons of videos coming your way the rest of the week, so make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you check those out. If you see us, tweet them out. Retweet it. Even if you don't watch it, if you're like, oh, here's another stupid video for Boogie, I'm not watching it. He's an idiot. Retweet it, man. Let's grow this chat. Let's get to 10,000. We are on a race against VolQuest. We are about 100 subscribers behind them. We are racing them to 10,000. If we beat them, I don't know what I'll do. Maybe I'll just Maybe I'll tweet at Austin Price and let him know. The Sammy P.
Oh, Sammy
I always
P.
want to say,
P's
I want to
been
say
around for a while.
MVP. I always want to say Sammy MVP for some reason. Thank you for the $5 super chat. End of year aren't the only one living in illusion. Vols 48, Dogs 36. I hope you guys are right. I hope you guys are right. Tajon says beat VolQuest. Yeah, let's do it. Let's stick it to the man. Let's beat VolQuest to 10,000 subscribers and be the number one source for media for Tennessee football, basketball, and baseball on YouTube. Boys, does that not blow your mind? We're just three regular dudes sitting in our office talking about Tennessee sports, and we're just 100 subscribers away from the number one source.
Humbling.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Awesome.
It's because of you guys. We appreciate the support. Like I said, share it out, retweet it, post it, tell somebody, tell your aunt, tell your uncle, tell somebody about Talkin VAWLS. But that's going to wrap it up for this one. He's Dauber. He's the Indie Kid. My name is Boogie Bentley. Join us for the post-game show. That's going to wrap it up for this one. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. Go big. I got to hit that super chat. I can't leave. When people are giving us money. Power T for $5. Thank you for the super chat. If we pull this out, Rocky Top is back. Boys, I don't know what else to say. That's the way we wrap this thing up. If we pull it out, Rocky Top is back.